Hello, it is time for our sentence surgeon. And I'm not going to lie, guys, this sentence is a little more complicated than it looks at first glance. So this is a week that you are going to need a new plastic sheath. And hopefully I remember to pass them out to you. But if I don't remember, if somebody will please remind me. And I ordered some, and they're coming. So I hope that they're coming the Friday before we do this this sentence surgeon. But if not, then I might just have you guys wait until the end of the week because I'm almost out of them. But anyway, I'm going to set this to the side. So let's go ahead and look at the sentence. So to determine what kind of sentence it is, remember we need to look at the very end. We need to look at the punctuation. And the punctuation at the end of the sentence has an exclamation point. What types of sentences end in an exclamation point? Well, there's two types actually. So one is exclamatory, which is a sentence that is said with exaggerated or big emotion or feeling, and then the other would be a command that is yelled. So let's look at this sentence. It says, "Then from the hen house, Jane came running to her mother, shouting, 'I know how an egg comes out.'" Okay, well, this isn't commanding anybody anything, so it's not going to be an imperative sentence. So it's going to be exclamatory. So we're going to write it down at the bottom. exclamatory, exclamatory. There we go. I think that's our first exclamatory sentence. So I'm excited. I got one in there. I'd love to find an imperative sentence soon. I think that's the only one we haven't done yet, if I'm not wrong. So, like I said, our sentence is a lot more complicated than you'd think. The reason I picked this one, I was excited to get an exclamatory sentence in, but I also wanted to bring back our dialogue punctuation. Some of us really struggled with it, so I felt like we needed more practice. So that's actually a focus on our ELA stations this week, is our punctuating dialogue. There is a slides activity for it that will be taken up for a grade. So make sure that you take it seriously and you're really trying to learn how we're punctuating our dialogue. Like, for instance, the comma is after the narration saying, guys, there's going to be a statement coming. So I'm going to highlight that. So that's the warning that, guys, a quote's coming. Then we need the quotation marks directly before and directly after the first and last words that are said. So we have to have our quotation marks at the beginning and the end of the actual quote. And we need to have punctuation for our quotation, which this is at the end of the sentence, so it needs to have a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Sometimes, if it's flip-flopped and the quote's at the beginning, the narration's after, it might end with a comma. But if it's at the very end of the sentence, we know it needs to end the whole sentence. So this time it's being yelled, so she used an exclamation point. That needs to go before the punctuation or the quotation marks, not after. All right, so moving on ahead. Like I said, this is a complicated sentence. This almost like I didn't realize how many adverbs were in this sentence until after I had already printed them all out and decided this was going to be our sentence for the week. It really would have been a good week for me to start having you guys focus on some adverbs. However, that's not how I set it up already. But let's look back at remember that this is part of our folder, the parts of speech reminder. And so you can always look at the definition to remind us. I am not going to lie, even as a grown adult, I look at the definitions of these all the time to make sure that I'm not confused about what I'm telling you. So it says that an adverb is a word that describes a verb, adjective, or other adverb, telling where, when, how, or to what extent. And some examples are quickly, solemnly, angrily. Often ends in ly, but not always. We have out, now, then, up, yesterday, soon, there, just, more, not. And there are more than that. But if there's a word that comes directly after a verb that you're almost like, well, that's kind of a verb too. Not necessarily. It could be a describing word, but specifically describing a verb, adjective, or another adverb. If it's describing a noun, that's going to be an adjective. So if it's describing a noun or a pronoun, that's an adjective. But if the word is describing a verb, adjective, or another adverb, well, then that's an adverb.